Sweet, it looks like we are on. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video of the Streamline Podcast. We are on it again today, and in this video, we're going to be talking about, of course, an open world Halo game. Now, I know this is going to be like a weird topic, but that's okay because I like talking about stuff like that and giving my thoughts and exposition and decent points as to why we could possibly have one. Now, I've loved Halo. One of my biggest complaints, however, is the lack of exploration. Yes, a lot of the levels are pretty big. The sectional levels are actually pretty big, but there's not a lot to like the settings and stuff like that, or even a lot of reason to actually any incentive to actually get players to actually explore these levels and stuff. So and for it to be Halo and with the rings and stuff like that, I think sorry, there's no reason why we shouldn't have an actual open world Halo game. Now, there's been several inspirations for this video, mainly because we have the ring of Halo itself, which is an awesome setting for an actual open world game. Maybe not perhaps open world, but big enough to actually have large environments to explore. Like, what's the one mission in Halo Combat Evolved where you're on that island and you can drive around the entire island? Like, that right there is a great example of an open world section that had enemy bad guys in certain areas, good guys in certain areas. The reason really wasn't any reason to actually explore it, but it was cool to actually explore it. So, like, that was one of the reasons. Also, when I was playing Final Fantasy 15, and I was amazed at how they were actually able to make a Final Fantasy game that was open world, and it was actually really cool. There were actions you couldn't go to yet. There were also areas where there were these really strong monsters. Enemies controlled it, so there was a lot there that gave me inspiration. And I think the final one was when, of course, y'all know I love the book, the Flood book, and in that one, it was great to see that the game didn't explore this enough, like what was going on with the UNSC soldiers, and that book actually did, and it was actually showing this like tug of war that was going on between the UNSC and the Covenant outside of Master Chief and Cortana's storyline. Because as you know in the game, it just follows those two. But I like the little tug of war that they were having back and forth that way, and I think that was a great inspiration for me to want to shoot this video. Now, of course, Halo is one of my all-time favorite video game franchises, and I like there's a lot to like about the series. But I still think that outside of the big sectional areas, there could be an open world factor, especially if it is set on a Halo ring, because there could be several locations that characters could go to, explore, discover more about the Forerunners, discover more about the Flood, discover more characters. In a typical open world fashion, there are other characters that help influence the gameplay and things like that. But enough about, let's get to some more of the points. As I've said, one of my biggest inspirations is the Flood book, and what it was is when Halo first starts off, the UNSC end up discovering what this artificial planet called Halo, which is in the form of a ring, and of course the Covenant already know about it. Now, in the book, the Covenant had set up their little base camp, and the USC ended up setting up their base camp, and it was kind of having like these little bitty battles here and there. And I think for open world Halo game, I think that would actually work, because that would increase players' want to actually explore. There would be enemy controlled areas as well as UNSC areas. It'd be pretty cool because there would be fire. There probably would be firefights. here and there between both factions, and I think that's a great way of actually, diving into that because it would give personality to both sides. Perhaps there's the bad guys have a fort that you can try to go into and destroy it. Rather than sneaking, rather than full on assault, rather if you're trying to sabotage it. And I think the biggest thing would be you would actually see the UNSC support the characters a little bit more. Perhaps you can get your own crew with you to help you with your missions if you're not already in like a little 4-man group, which I think will be pretty awesome too, especially if it concerns something like co-op, online co-op, where it could be 4 people going on various missions, which I would take this from Dragon Age Inquisition, where you had these 4 parts to your army. It was diplomacy. There was the war, the soldiers. Then there was like the assassins, and you can send them to different points on the map to achieve different goals. And I even think that you can actually, if I remember correctly, you can go to those points and achieve that too yourself. So I think that'll be pretty cool. You can actually have little firefight teams or sniper teams here, and you can send them to various points to either accomplish a mission, retrieve information, do some kind of sabotage mission or something, or a rescue mission, or arms run or something like that. Or you can have people post up in certain areas, let you know if the Covenant are moving in force, or if they're sending out scouts. Like stuff like that would be pretty cool for an open world game. Not in good old Halo fashion, would it be first person? I believe it will work as a first person. And I think that'll be a pretty good way of actually keeping the the players invested, because it will feel like them. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Spartan. I'm not sure, but that seems to be the motif in these games. So why not just make it a Spartan, or have a group of Spartans? Like I said, possibly 4, or you can split that 4 up so they can do their various things, which I think will be also another interesting capability for players to utilize while playing this game. So I think that's a good direction that they could go into with that. And yes, it will be like the war on the ring type thing. Yes, there are skirmishes here and there. There are 2 big factions. There will also be some like pretty cool boss battles depending on like what's at stake here and there. Like I would like to see a Scarab. I would like to see players be able to go up into the Covenant fleet ships and do battle up there. That'd be pretty cool, awesome. What if there are certain missions where an outpost is being attacked by the Covenant, or better yet, since it's going to be on the Halo ring, why not even the Flood, or possibly the Guilty Spark with the robots and stuff? Like that'll be pretty cool missions that players can embark in, and keep it tense, because this is a war between 2 factions on the alien artifacts. So I think that'll be pretty cool. Also, with war, I'm kind of on the fence about having RPG elements. I think as far as if you have a Spartan team and they're doing various missions outside of what's going on with your character, then I think they would be pretty cool, because it probably would make them more efficient. Like say if there was a mission where someone had to assassinate someone, and I guess the higher their assassination skill, the less time it would take to do it, make it more efficient, or the less decreases the chance of their success. There's someone that's like a bomb expert and they have to defuse a bomb, or they have to plant a bomb. It would depend on how your skill set is, how fast you do it, and how effective it'll be, and if it wouldn't fail. So there's a lot to go on with like RPG elements. Of course, you can go with like special unique abilities. I'm not like people like, if there is RPG, I think that it should be limited to say maybe 20 levels. Like I love Saints Row. I think Saints Row is a good game. One of the problems I do have with it is you can potentially get all of, and I'm not gonna say potentially, you can end up getting all of the skills leveled up and everything. And I'm like, I don't like that, because not only does that make you God mode, it kind of hurts the replay value. I would like to play it to where, okay, physically in one playthrough I'm stronger, and then the next playthrough I'm like a master at firearms and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool because it'll change up the gameplay. But in the Halo game, I think, unique armor abilities will be pretty cool. The armor itself and its effectiveness when it comes to defense, possibly offense. Also, a proficiency in weapons, I think, will be a great addition to this too. And of course, you can customize the suit. I think that is great what they've done with Halo Reach and Halo 4 with the customization. I think it's really well detailed, and I think the visuals of it looks pretty cool. So the presentation itself is overall awesome. But I think it would also help if you had with the RPG elements, if they also affect your team. Now, and I was playing Marvel's Ultimate Alliance the other day, and they had this special thing where you can formulate your own special team, and you can build up their effectiveness when it comes to their attacks, the teamwork, or the specials, or building up their special meter or something like that. So I think that would also help too. And I do want to see Halo take the direction where you can have AI companions. And I know that Halo 5, which I haven't played yet, had the AI companions too, which, it could have been a 4-player co-op. And I heard a lot, the AI companions were kind of wonky. And in some games, the companions can be a little wonky from time to time if they're not outright just garbage. But I think the RPG elements can help kind of help build up on that. And it'd be a great way to interact with the characters. Also, if we're going to do this, I want to see unique characters with unique missions, unique quests. I want to see unique weaponry, armor modifications and upgrades, as well as the weapon upgrades. Just does have to be. Am I trying to push this into a RPG Halo game? No, because Halo, if it's an open world game with the various missions, the enemy controlled areas, the unlockables and hidden content, which Halo definitely needs a lot more of, and more characters to actually interact with, then you don't need the RPG elements, because the gameplay, the exploration, and the combat itself will make up for it. But I am introducing the RPG elements as a pretty interesting idea to just kind of put on the side that I think would be pretty awesome. But I think perhaps the most standout would be actually the exploration of it. You can see these different regions, and again, in the Halo games, yes, there are big, massive levels. You can explore those levels, although really, like I said, there's really no incentive to do it. It's not like you can find like dog tags from fallen comrades or something like that, or unique weapons. I mean, yes, at some levels, yeah, you can find the sniper rifle here, the rocket launcher here, the little laser cannon thing there. But I'm talking about actual, like, decent unlockables, maybe towards what a mission gone wrong, characters on both sides of the war, information about that certain area or a certain protocol that they got set in place. Like, that'd be pretty cool. The unlockable content that could go into games like this, especially when it concerns the exploration. But like I said, Halo does have some pretty, like, me and my girl was playing Halo 3 the other day, and didn't realize, even though it is linear, there was like the sections that you could play through were actually pretty big, and I found myself enjoying that a lot. But I would like to actually have a full-on actual open world section. Like I said, just give us more to do, more to explore, give us more background, give us little tidbits for us to actually want to go back. Or perhaps there's an area that we can't go to due to the fact that it's enemy control, but then later on in the game you can go back to it. And I wanted to have this like a consequential type feel to it. Like, your decisions matter. If I take down this fort in this area, then the Covenant end up leaving that area, but that doesn't stop them from trying to come back over here and take over again, which would be cool because of the posts and scouts and stuff that you have. So if they are sending little contingents over here to take over another area or take back control of certain areas, said areas, and anything like that, you can potentially stop them, or you can let them take it back over, then go back over and do it again. But just don't do it like too soon. Like I don't want to do it one day and then the very next day. No, maybe the next day have them come over, send in little scouts or something. But then also, if that's the case, then that's when the AI like on AI NPCs on your side should be effective enough to defend against that, unless it's a bigger threat like raves, potentially a scarab or some new. And if this open world game, I want some new technology too. I liked Halo Wars, and Halo Wars is another inspiration for this too. I liked Halo Wars, and I think Halo Wars introduced a lot of interesting, pretty cool, technology for the Covenant. And also, if they're going to do that, make it a little bit fair too. So whatever the Covenant have, let the UNC have some type of version to kind of counter. Because if you play Halo Wars and they pull out the Scarab, more than half of your stuff is going to get destroyed just from one. That's what I'm saying. It'd be a pretty cool open world aspect. Like, think about it. What if you're traveling along this one road or whatever, and you can see a scarab walking off in the background, and then you could choose to go actually engage it? Like, that would be freaking awesome. What if you're traveling on the road and you can see an area where the flood had ended up taking over? And see little skirmishes between the UNSC and the Flood, or the Flood and the Covenant, or the Flood and the Guilty Spark robots. You can choose to join that battle. I think that'd be freaking awesome. And then, like, the thought of being able to deploy teams either on their own to do a mission, or to deploy them and then go in so you have your reinforcements. I think that would be a superb job. So as far as an open world Halo game, do I think it will work? I definitely think that it'll be an awesome idea to do. I think it'll be a fantastic idea. I think it'll be a great direction to take the series, because there are some elements in the series that do feel like they're getting tiresome, and one of them is how linear the story is. And I like the little modes they put on the side to help increase the replay value of it outside of the multiplayer. But I think this would be a pretty awesome way to do this. And think about it too, if it's an open world game and you have 4-player co-op, that would be awesome, to the fullest. Maybe perhaps even have a mode which I think will be pretty awesome too, sorry about that. You have 4 people on your side, maybe you have 4 people on the Covenant side that are trying to do the exact same thing, and they're going at it here and there. Like, that'll be an awesome mode, like a little skirmish mode where, okay, 4 players on this side, 4 players on the Covenant side, and they're trying to duke it out over a map. Fantastic. That'll be awesome, and based on their performances, depends on how much more of the map that faction controls. Interesting idea. It'll refresh the multiplayer aspect of it while introducing something pretty cool. And like I said, if you're playing 4 players with the open world, you can utilize better tactics too. If you want to take over a base that the Covenant is owning or something like that, have 2 people set up shop on this side to do a frontal assault, have 2 provide cover. Interesting. That's a really good dynamic. And if we do an open world game that features the Halo universe, what I would like to see is they play both sides. In one playthrough, you can play as the Covenant, which I think will be awesome, because you can get more exposition on what the Covenant ranks are and the characters and how they do things, and more about their religion and technology and beliefs. That'll be awesome. Or you can play on the UNSC side and get more, and like I said, characters and hopefully new weaponry. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be awesome to see that balance, and it'd be very interesting too. But I think that's about all the points that I had. Like I said, this game was inspired. This thought, this video was inspired by, Dragon Age Inquisition, Halo Wars, and Final Fantasy 15. So I think there's a lot that they can go with an open world Halo game. It just got to be willing to try something new, and not that is actually new. You know what I'm saying? The gameplay mechanics wouldn't change that much, especially from the first person shooter aspect or how the you fight in combat or anything. It's just that instead of you having one linear campaign, yes, I would like to have that story, a good engaging story too. But the open world aspect will help make it refresh it a bit. But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know what do you think about my ideas about a Halo open world game. What are some things I didn't provide, such as possibly like animals and stuff, and new vehicles by the Forerunners, which would be pretty awesome. But anyways, like I said, just let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what's going on here on the NarikChase channel. And to the next video, guys. Catch you later.